Well, like we were right. It's hit the fan. So let's dive in and talk about it.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth! And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Time for the monologue and the Q&A. Folks, we've got some great changes going on here at the Prepared Mind Network, theRsyndicate.com. Now you have two choices right down here. There we go. Two choices to join us for premium subscription content, right? And they both run simultaneous. They both run at the same time. You can be on, folks, subscribestar.com, The Prepared Mind, or you can just go to thepreparedmind.club. Sign up for premium video service. Same cost, $2 a month, 7 cents a day. And you can be right there on our website. That's your website, my website, our website, thepreparedmind.club, right? Where we give them a good clubbing over the head for being complete jackasses. Right now, we're in Studio C, which has the camouflage backdrop in place. The reason is we're still having some internet work being done as we revamp the entire system. The office, the equipment, everything. Thank you for supporting what we do on the Prepared Mind channel. And this is going to be the Q&A. So get your questions into Jolene. Get them in right now. Folks, I think secession is coming. I really do. It is really going to hit us. We have President Biden can't put two words together. He can't put two words together without sounding like an idiot or accusing someone of something. Now, on top of that, Kamala Harris, the vice president of the United States, she can't do anything but trip on words. I mean, doesn't she have a teleprompter like the president? Isn't she young enough that she should be able to read? Right? There's an American Rescue Plan Workforce Development Summit. Hell, I was able to read that. Maybe I should be vice president. Well, these people, they are just absolutely lost, folks. Right? The vice president is the vice president and not the president already. Even though I predicted Biden would only make it 6 months, he's now made it 18. He is awful. They're losing voters left and right. Folks, it's hit the fan. The federal government, the real power behind the throne, if you will, doesn't want Kamala Harris in the driver's seat. They just don't, right? Her numbers are awful, and she can't take questions, right? Here, let me read what she said. There is no question that we still have work to do, but it's important to note that these numbers do not fully reflect the recent drop in gas prices. Huh? Right? Really? Fighting inflation is one of our administration's top economic priorities, which is why we have taken action to lower the cost of living for Americans, millions of Americans. I can't name one out of 350 million Americans that has had their cost of living reduced. Then her final gem, the vice president of the United States. You need you need to get to go and need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work and get home. Verbatim, folks. My brain hurts. I have a hard time just reading how fucked up the things are that she said. Let me repeat, the vice president. And this is why Biden is still the president and why the Democrat Party is hurting so bad. I have some ideas I'll share with you just as soon as I requote Camel Toes Harris. You need to get to go and need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work and get home. We have said, I know we all have asked. We have all asked, who is running the country? And we've surmised it's Barack Hussein Barry Soetoro Obama, because he hates America and everything Biden is doing is bad for America, and he hates America, and Kamala Harris hates America. But I'm starting to wonder, could it be that the hand-picked morons around Biden are actually the ones who are administrating this complete and total fiasco called the federal government? Between the bureaucracy and law enforcement, I'm starting to think that these people are a bunch of bumbling idiots, worse than the man behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz. They're all just spinning cranks and pushing buttons, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're like, yeah, we hate gas, so let's shut down pipelines. Yeah, good idea, man. Let's save the world. We're finally in charge. The World Economic Forum, right? The Illuminati, the Bilderberg groups, they're just like, step back. Everyone stay away from them. They're screwing things so badly. They're fucking it up so much that the people will hate them, and we're going to get our great reset. Good golly. At first, folks, for the last 18 months, I've thought they're doing this on purpose. They're crashing it on purpose. This is the World Economic Forum. Now I'm wondering if it isn't really just a bunch of egg-headed morons, right? If they give a speech like this to Kamala Harris, how stupid are they in the White House? Literally, it's amateur, it's sophomoric. Wow, how bad these people are. I mean, here's another example of why I think it is actually a bunch of morons, a bunch of elitist academic fools in Washington, D.C., running the administration, the bureaucracy, the legislature. Biden is now backing the restoration of the German Nord Stream pipeline, telling Canada, get that thing over there, fix their pipeline. Germany needs gas. What a freaking hypocrite. Has he forgotten that he shut down the Keystone pipeline? Has he forgotten that he said, no more gas, no more oil for America? We're going to make do with what we have. But first, I'm going to go beg from the Saudis and from United Arab Emirates and from Qatar and Venezuela and Iran. I'm going to go beg for more oil from them. But we're not going to pump a single new drop of American oil. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't make up that kind of stupid, folks. And when I say secession is coming, I mean it. There is no way anyone with any rational brains can say, oh, yeah, United States of America, I want to be a part of that. How far down the tubes is Texas going to go before it says, you know what? We don't need you, federal government, anymore. I mean, how much stupid do we have to get out of Washington, D.C. before the states are like, done with you. We're out of here. We've tried for decades, not just years, folks, but decades to get the government to wake up, step out of the way, and let American business provide products to the American people that we want to buy, and to do so without federal government interference. Folks, the reason the South left the North in the 1860s, the reason the Confederate States of America, the Confederacy, was created was because of interference from Washington, D.C. and New York and the northern industrial states. All they did was interfere with the South and destroy them for decades. And they finally said, that's enough. And they left. And then we had the Civil War. I think it's very possible that's coming again. Only you're going to mix in it, not just government versus government saying, get the hell out of here, DC. You're going to have states getting pissed at states. You're going to have social groups getting pissed at social groups. That's right, folks. I think we'll have social civil unrest. I think it's coming. I really do. Now, another topic here that's right on there, the Civil War, secession. Of course, we talked about the people of the Netherlands saying, we've had it with this shit, right? You're not going to take our land. You're not going to stop us from farming. You're not going to punish us anymore. We are free people and we're going to farm. I mean, geez, how hard is that? Oh, you want to farm? I'd be like, oh, great. You want to farm? Farm away. Make food. Good. Not the Netherlands government. No, not that bunch of jerk-offs. They're like, yeah, we're going to build houses on that farmland that we steal. Sri Lanka, folks, the people literally flooded the president, the house, right? Just went in, just flooded it with people. Thousands and tens of thousands of people saying, you know what? Presidential palace my ass in Sri Lanka. Well, the president, right, jumped on a military ship with his suitcase full of cash, flees to a place called Paradise Island, right? Now, he is appointing generals to restore law and order in Sri Lanka. Question I have is, will the people fight? Will the people of Sri Lanka go, you know what? We're not afraid of the president. We're not afraid of the military. Why should they be afraid of the military? Like the president screws the whole country up. Oh yeah, over farming, folks. That was a big part of it. A lot of the world's problems right now, food shortages, inflation, are because of government, their policies, their farm and climate policies, folks. Farming and climate policies are screwing up the world. You want everything to be better? Get the hell out of the way, government. Anyways, the question I have is, will the people of Sri Lanka stand down, or will they get mad and step up and fight the military? The president of Sri Lanka is a freaking coward, running like a fat little sissy. And then he says, hey, generals, we need you to get in there and restore law and order. Well, what law and order are they restoring? The people's law and order? Or are they going to restore a tyrant's version of law and order? Sri Lanka, Civil War, you bet, folks. They're on it. They're on it. I mean, the Luhansk and Donetsk territories, formerly in Ukraine, are no longer part of Ukraine. Remember that all the way back to the beginning of this Ukraine conflict. We were told there's two territories that want to break away from the rest of Ukraine, Luhansk and Donetsk. That's what it was about, folks. Independence, getting away from, seceding from tyranny. Good golly. And since then, we've had problems with Russia. Since then, we've had lots of problems, right, with Russia and Ukraine and other countries, Poland and Germany. Well, right now, Gazprom has the Nord Stream pipeline. That's right, folks. The pipeline that Joe Biden wants restored fully. Well, we were told it was going to be down for 10 days. 10 days. And that pipeline will be down for 10 days for repairs. And they're saying that, well, if it doesn't come back online, July 22nd, today is now the 13th. We're into day 2 of the shutdown. There's fear, folks, that that pipeline won't be reopened and that Germany is going to be SOL and also have a good deal of SHTF. Right now, the big energy giant known as Gazprom announced today that, quote, it cannot guarantee good functioning of the Nord Stream pipeline to Germany. Nope. It's still yet unclear and unknown whether the critical turbine engine will be returned from Canada. Right? cannot guarantee good functioning of the Nord Stream pipeline. Right? The gas is supposed to come back online, folks, but what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't? What does that mean to Europe? What does that mean to Germany? It's amazing, folks. A pipe. You have seen pipes. A garden hose is a type of pipe. It's flexible and stuff, but you turn on water on one end and it squirts out the other. Think of gas the same way. You turn on the gas on one end and natural gas comes out the other end. How hard is it to make a frickin' pipeline and make one that works? Well, it's a big problem, folks, in the world of liberals. It's a big problem in the world of liberals. There is a massive percentage of Germans that don't like the German government. There's a massive percentage of Germans that don't like Ukraine at all. There's a massive percentage of Germans that want energy from Russia. There's a large number of Germans, German firms, factories, corporations that do a lot of business with Russia who are now screwed shit out of luck. More SOL, SHTF. Oh yeah, folks. Could we see secession coming to a country, a nation like Germany? Could we see more breakaway republics? Could we see nations saying, you know what? We're done with this European Union nonsense. Country like Hungary, Viktor Orban there, we're seeing realignments. Would you rather have your moral standards, right, and starve and be freezing your ass off? Well, the difference between whether you have moral standards is whether or not you take NATO, the US, and World Economic Forum side of things, or whether you take the Russian side of things. Who do you believe? I love a lot of these conservative types out here who have talk shows that talk about how bad Russia is. It's like you've done half the homework to figure out what's going on. You just buy that the Biden administration are good guys over there with Russia and Ukraine. You just take it at face value that all of the money being shipped into Ukraine is going exactly where it's needed. This isn't a big money laundering scam, a big transfer of wealth, right? This big claim that Russia is the bad guy. I'm not saying they're the good guy, but to just sit there and go, oh yeah, I believe Biden, not on anything here in America, but over in Europe, oh yeah, I believe him 100%. Give me a freaking break. All of these leaders are doing nothing but screwing their own countries over and enriching themselves. You think the people of the Netherlands give a flying frog's fat ass about Russia at the moment? No, they've got some bigger fish to fry, don't they? Their own government is trying to destroy them. And they're just going to believe, right? They're just going to take everyone's word for it that Russia's the bad guys. It's unbelievable where this is all going. And here we are in the United States of America, sitting on our thumbs, watching our farming be sold to China and Bill Gates. It's unbelievable, folks. Now, we need to start taking our cues from the Netherlands, right? Here's a quote. The state is stealing our farmers' land, and the farmers are obviously not having it. You bet. You bet, right? The police over there are still having a hard time understanding who they're supposed to be working for, right? They've opened fire on a farm boy with a gun. They're aiming guns at farmers because these protests by farmers are shutting down the global reset, the screw job, right? Mark Steyn interviewed Eva Vardingerbroek, right? And they're not happy, folks. They need to get some names that us Americans can pronounce, right? We've got Rami Mersh. I can say his name, but I can't say her name. The people have had it over there. They realize their government is trying to destroy them. They can't just secede. Where are they going to secede from? No, they're going to be stuck with a civil war here coming very soon. Right? The state, or the government, if you will, is stealing our farmers' land. The police are pointing their guns at people. How long until they start shooting? And how long until the Dutch people come out of what little sleep they have left and realize they're fighting for their lives and it is a civil war? Folks, this is happening around the world. Happening around the world. I mean, would you like me to go over the names of all of the countries again? Right? Poland, Italy, Germany, Panama, Albania, Netherlands, Ghana, Ecuador, Peru, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Turkey, Zimbabwe, Venezuela, Argentina, Lebanon, Kenya, Niger, Greece, Libya, Iran, Iraq, El Salvador, Colombia, Belgium, Panama, Albania. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's the list. That is the list, folks, of countries that are right now, battling their government in one form, fashion, or another. You notice the United States wasn't on there. Oh, but we're in a war, folks. We're in a massive battle. Don't believe for a second we're not in a war, right? President Trump responded to Biden's 9.1% inflation, folks. The quote is, "America will not allow this to go on for much longer," says Trump. Folks, this election is going to show who likes Biden and the Democrats. This coming election, and I know we're going to have some serious election problems if we do not have a fair election. If there's a lot of screaming and yelling coming from surprises, states are going to say, nope, we're not participating, not going to play. The people are going to say, nope, we're done. We don't believe this anymore, right? I don't think people are going to buy it if the Democrats hang on to control, folks, of the Congress, right? This is Trump's quote, right? Inflation just hit another 40-year high, which is terrible for our country. Fuel prices up 60%, airfare up 34%, eggs up 33%. How can people survive this? How can business survive this? Our country is so weak right now because the radical left Democrats have no clue what they are doing. All they want to do is get Trump, and they are willing to destroy our nation to do it. America will not allow this to go on for much longer. Don't vote for the radical left Democrats. Vote for America First. Republicans, save America. Well, there's some things in there I agree with, and that is that America cannot allow this to go on for much longer. How much longer, folks? How many more acres of farmland have to be, well, destroyed? How much more inflation can farmers tolerate? Buying fertilizer, they have to buy fuel for their tractors, buy fuel for their water pumps. Someone's got to pump the water. Shit just doesn't go where you want it to because you want it to, right? They've got to pump that water around. It's incredible, folks, what is going on in this country. And to think that it's all going to be just fine, we don't have to worry about it. No. I want you prep to action, right? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You're going to need all of those things. All of those things, folks, because of what Joe Biden is doing and what his handlers are doing, right? It's easy for me to see. It's easy for me to see what is coming. The country is weak. They keep lying to us and saying, oh, no, everything's fine, right? The Democrats have no clue what they're doing. I have to agree with that. All they want to do is get Trump, hate Trump. They're putting all their energy behind this sham January 6th committee as if that's going to solve any problems, right? One, all they're trying to do is keep Trump from coming back in 2024. They're so worried about 2024. It's like they're ignoring 2022, and it's right in front of us. Except the people on the ground are more than willing to lie, cheat, and steal. Like they're going to be ready for it. I mean, are we ready for what's coming? Are you ready for what's coming? Right? Going to the preparedmind.club. I hope you're watching the show there right now. I hope so. Right? Or on subscribestar.com, the Prepared Mind. Either or. It costs the same, but on the club, you can get the items you need. Right? You need comms. Right? You need virtual private network for your computer. Right? You need body armor. You need long-term food. You need water. Whatever you need, solar power. Whatever you need, you can get it at the club. And you can even get a coaching session with me. You can talk to me about any topics you want, right? We now have that, right? Prepper Coach with John. It's right there at the top of the page at the preparedmind.club, right? I'm doing everything I can, folks. I really am. I'm doing all I can. I study everything. We talk about it. You share it. You share the internet address right up there. Sharing that with people so that they can start to think proper, get prepared, and see the trouble that's coming. And the coach, Prepper Coach with John, we're already getting people signing up. It's awesome. I look forward to the first few sessions that are going to be scheduled in. I'm going to spend more of my time working with you guys directly. It's been requested and asked for years, and I don't have any choice. I feel like I have to be talking to people on an individual basis, as well as in general here in the World Wide Web. It's unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable where this is all going. Whew. You know, that little mongrel, I'm talking about Dr. Fauci, says that cerveza bug juice, right? The Jim Jones juice don't protect against infection overly well. That's his words, overly well. They don't do a great job overly well. And admits it didn't protect him because he's been infected now. Yeah. Isn't that what the big V is supposed to do? When you go get the big V, isn't that supposed to protect you from getting sick? Well, they've had to redefine words, folks. Redefine it. They're not giving up on it, though. Oh, we've got more coming, folks. We got pandemics coming. We do. Meanwhile, right, U.S. workers, the average United States of America worker, that would be taxpayer, right? The damage they've suffered is the dollar equivalent of $3,400, making that much less. Can you go without $3,400 in your current budget? Well, that's what it's already cost Americans. The equivalent of $3,400. Unbelievable. That is a tax, folks. When inflation is present, and it always is with this fake money they have called the US dollar. It's not backed by gold. It's not backed by anything real, and they're printing the shit out of it. It's a tax. When your dollars go less far, that's like having money just taken out of your wallet. Who's causing this to happen? The United States government and the Federal Reserve. This is a tax on us, folks. Did you get a 9.1% increase in your salary? I didn't. In fact, I got a big fat salary reduction. Thank you very much, Joe Biden. Unbelievable. Right. Now, this is a Joe Biden quote. Read the polls, Jack. You guys are all the same, right? Snapped out, folks. He lashed out at a reporter asking about the New York Times poll showing that 64% of Democrats don't want Biden to run again. Why not? Well, he's not doing the country any good. Even Democrats are rejecting the shit out of him. It's incredible that the response from the president is read the polls, Jack. Folks, secession, insurrection is being caused by Biden. What's coming is being caused by them intentionally. I have a funny feeling that Joe Biden is being lied to on a daily basis. In the White House, they're just like, Joe, everything's great. You're doing great. The polls are showing that you're doing wonderful out there. America loves you. By the way, Joe, right, there's some inflation, but things are cheaper now for Americans to buy. The 4th of July was less expensive for the people. The people love you, Joe. And I bet he believes it, right? And then someone asks him about the New York Times poll, and he's like, hey, you read the polls, Jack. You guys are all the same. Like, right? Like he doesn't know the real polls. Like he doesn't know that the things he's doing is destroying America. He doesn't know that he's pushing the rest of the country to secession. And in some places, folks, it's just going to be outright insurrection. Are you prepared? Well, for now, I'm done. And coming up next is you guys. It's time for the Q&A. Let's get it on.
Are you ready?
Woo! Welcome back to Studio C, folks, known as the camouflage backdrop. Wow. We're having some good luck here. Internet's holding up great. We're doing great on Subscribestar. We're doing great at the preparedmind.club. And if you're with us at the preparedmind.club, you are live. So, and it's still only $2 a month, folks, to join us live daily, 7 cents a day. And I'm glad we have so many people here. So many people are signing up at the preparedmind.club. It's been newly revamped. It's awesome now for shopping for prepper needs. It's awesome, folks, because you can sign up and watch premium content on the preparedmind.club. And it's awesome because now we have Prepper Coach with John, right? So we're getting people signing up for that. And I can't wait to have these personal one-on-one discussions where I get to meet who you are individually. You get to talk to me as an individual person. No audience, right? Not going to be televised. Just a private one-on-one discussion about things that are concerning to you. Right? Okay, so let's get into the questions. Let's see what you guys want to talk about. And we're going to start with Heidi. And she says, what is the deal with the fire and explosions at the Vatican? Folks, the Vatican is at war within itself. I can't tell you exactly what the deal is. One, I'm not a Catholic. Two, I'm not an insider, and I'm not an insider Catholic. But I know there's a war within Catholicism, within the Catholic Church. And this war has been raging, folks, believe it or not, for centuries. It's always been a war inside for control of the universal church, the Catholic Church. Right back when Pope John Paul was there, back when I was a much younger man, a boy, right? The word was then that the Pope was hated, right? And that the cardinals hated him. And there's been a problem with the Jesuits for decades and decades trying to bring communism into South and Central America, and they were successful, right? There's a problem with the Catholic Church in the Vatican having to do with the current Pope, right? And their support of woke doctrine and things that I don't think Jesus would be very happy about, right? Now, a great example of a good, upstanding Catholic priest would be Archbishop Vignano, who has been railing against the World Economic Forum and the Davos gang, the Bilderbergs and the Illuminati. Right? He actually seems concerned and caring about the children of the world, the state of the church, et cetera, et cetera. There is a war within the Vatican, folks. It's being fought. Forces of good, and believe it or not, the forces of evil. That same war is being fought in Christian churches around the world. That same war is being fought in school boards, town halls, county seats, state capitals, and as you know, Washington, D.C. All around the world, folks, there's this massive war between good and evil is being fought right now. You know what side you stand on, right? Do you think it's cute that babies die? Of course you don't. But there's a political party and an attitude out there that really thinks it's just fine. In fact, they're happy because of it. That is the type of sick people that are out there. All right. Who is next? Jolene. Who do we got? We've got Blue Cord Devil with a statement. Just heard Dr. F told Fox News the jab doesn't work that well. Yep. Yeah, we covered that a little bit, right? A little bit, yeah. The little guy, the little man, the little doctor that couldn't. They don't protect against infection overly well, right? What does that mean for the world? What does that mean for the world? They've all been mandated, told, right? And this was Neil Cavuto, folks, on Fox News, interviewing Dr. Anthony Fauci, right? He's the White House's chief medical advisor. He's the director of the National Institutes of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. And he comes out and says, well, the Jim Jones juice does not provide overly well protection. He says he's fully recovered and essentially back to normal. Well, I don't know why he wouldn't be, right? I mean, isn't that what the Jim Jones juice is supposed to do? If it doesn't protect against getting it overly well, which means it's not a big V, because that's what the V is supposed to do. Well, it was supposed to make the symptoms not be as bad. I mean, how would you know? How would you know? I've heard of people who are so sick when they get cerveza bug that they can't stand it. And I've heard of people going, yeah, it sniffles for a few days and everything in between. So how would you know if it's going to help you get over it faster or have reduced symptoms if you can't be sick at the same time without their Jim Jones juice to compare the two? Even within the same house, people respond differently to colds, right? I know one couple, right? The one side sick for over 2 weeks. The other side, 5 days. Neither of them have Jim Jones juice. I'm sorry, neither of them have cerveza bug. Neither of them took the Jim Jones juice. And neither of them actually had cerveza bug because they got a test, one of these CVS tests. One, 2 weeks sick. The other, 5 days. Why? Well, because everyone responds different. So how the hell would you know if it's going to make your symptoms less? We're just supposed to believe that. Kind of like, well, there's presents under the tree. It must have come from Santa Claus because there's no other explanation. No, right? Unbelievable. Right? Fauci confirmed, though, earlier this month that there's a COVID rebound. Unbelievable. Well, thank you very much for that. I've just had it with these people, folks. They're liars. They're liars. Uman said, I've said before, it's quite possible and even likely that they are all morons. Hanlon's Razor says, never attribute to malice that which can adequately be explained by incompetence. Well, what Uman is responding to is my claim that, well, maybe the United States government in Washington, D.C. is truly being run by a bunch of left-wing, elitist, egghead morons inside the Biden administration. And they can't get their frickin' story straight from day to day or topic to topic. So yeah, they do come off as completely incompetent. The consequences are disastrous for the country. And they're so, They're nose blind. They're so nose blind that they don't realize the American people hate them, are disgusted with them. They're so nose blind that they don't realize in the Democrat Party that they're going to lose big time. And they should, folks. I wish they need to be impeached. Every last one of them needs to be impeached. And they need to be tried for treason. Because a lot of this that's going on is absolutely treasonous, folks. Selling our oil or allowing China to bid on our oil is just absolutely disgusting. Right? Our strategic oil reserves are supposed to be for our strategic country, not, well, we have to open it up to a bidding system. No. It goes to an American oil company that sells the product, the end user product, to the American people. Not, well, it's an open bid process and it went to a Chinese oil company and they're exporting all of our oil. Unbelievable, folks. They're getting all the oil they want and need from the Middle East and Russia, and they're buying our oil. Vincent Boyle checks in from Belfast, Ireland, folks. And he says, we are over $10 a gallon for diesel in Belfast. I'm not surprised in the least. Now, I thought Ireland's on the metric system and they buy stuff by the liter, but for translating that into US dollars and US measurements, $10 a gallon, folks. I'm actually expecting it to go well over 15 in the UK and Ireland and parts of Europe before the end of this year. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not there in some places already. It's absolutely awful, folks, and they're doing it intentionally. It's like the governments are destroying the countries and they're daring the people to throw them out. Literally, they're daring the people to start civil war or to secede. States can just leave the European Union. Why do they need to ask permission? Why do they need to go through all of these processes? Like the Brexit deal took years and years and years. Why don't you just tell the European Union, go fuck yourself? We don't need you, your social programs, your banking system, nothing. Right? Why not? Indeed. And as far as the United States of America, states can secede from the union and just tell the federal government, hasta la vista, baby, gone. You know why they killed Muammar Gaddafi, folks? This came out in a news report the other day. Muammar Gaddafi was assassinated publicly, and his body was treated very poorly. It was a coup d'etat, folks. Probably had someone named John Bolton involved in it, since he says he's been involved in coup d'etats. But they got rid of Muammar Gaddafi. Now, whether you liked him or not, I really didn't. I thought he was kind of a jackass. But right, he gave his people cheap gas. He provided government services because the country was oil rich. Libya, oil rich. And they wanted to be paid in gold for their oil. Well, interestingly, not long after making that proclamation or demand, Muammar Gaddafi was killed. But what he was also doing was proposing a United States of Africa. He wanted the African nations to come together to oppose the European Union. Isn't that strange, folks? That's right. European Union and European banks, together with American banks, Canadian banks, were strong-arming the free states of Africa, and they didn't like the fact that Africa was trying to unify itself. The same way they didn't like, folks, Saddam Hussein saying, well, I don't think I'm going to take US dollars for my oil anymore. I think I want another currency. And within just a few months, right, the American military was rolling up and knocking on his door. You bet, folks. It's all about money and power and incompetence. Well, that really has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. The SEC is failing to reach an agreement with the Chinese. Of course, they're not going to have an agreement. Why should the Chinese come to an agreement with the Security and Exchange Commission? The same Security and Exchange Commission that has proven time and time again that JP Morgan is manipulating gold and silver and other metals. They manipulate the markets, the market prices. They enrich themselves. JP Morgan and other large banks, but JP Morgan's on the hot seat right now, right? The jury has come out and said, yeah, they're screwing with the prices of things. They're manipulating markets, which affects you and me. It affects you and me, folks. And I don't hear JP Morgan that they're all going to jail. In fact, they're still allowed to trade on the COMEX. That is the Commodities Exchange. But the Security and Exchange Commission, hey, they're not real happy with the Chinese. If you were the Chinese, and they've got their own problems, folks, they're a bunch of corrupt scum too. I don't like the Chinese, right? More than I like the Russians. I don't like any of these people that are lying, cheating, stealing scumbags, folks. But why should they trust the Security and Exchange Commission, the SEC? Why should they come to a deal with them? Well, China's moving away from the United States of America, folks. China's moving away from the European Union. I'm sure they're going to continue to do business as much as they care to. But they're moving and they're looking at South America, all the nations there. They're looking at Africa, all the nations there. They're looking at the Middle East, Southeast Asia as their trading partners and their future. Right? There's 1.3 billion Indians in the country of India. 1.3 billion, folks. That's 4 times the number of people in the United States of America. I think China would rather do business with 4 times the population than they would with the United States. All righty, what else do we got? Who's up next? Jolene. And folks, if you do Prepper Coach with John, you just have to sign up, and then Jolene will work with you. Set a time, set a date, and we'll sit down right on you'll get sent a link. You type in that link and pow, at that time and that date, right? You'll pop on the screen and start talking to me for an hour. All righty, what do we got? We got Bonnie Blue and said this, heard this AM on talk radio that if inflation was measured today using the same metrics used in 1981, which is the end of the Carter recession, that the real inflation rate today is 30%. Yes, you see, they're not taking fuel, the cost of gasoline, into this inflation index, right? The CPI. They're not taking a lot of items that you buy on a regular basis. They've changed the metrics. They've changed the rule. I believe John Williams with shadowstats.com is continuing to look at the numbers they used in back then, 1981. Continuing to, he goes, well, if we used what the system they had back then, the metrics they had back in 1981, we'd be at 30% inflation. 30%, folks. 30%. That is double what Nixon was facing. It's triple what the Carter years had for us and the start of the Reagan years. But they want to hide that. And they've been hiding it. They've been manipulating those numbers, folks, for years and decades. They're continuing to change. It's kind of like the Dow Jones. Well, they told ExxonMobil, you're now no longer a Dow Jones customer. I'm sorry, Dow Jones component. Well, how do you compare the Dow today with the Dow 10 years ago when ExxonMobil was in it? Well, you just have numbers, but there's different companies in there. Right? There was a Dow Jones before there was a McDonald's and before McDonald's was put on the Dow Jones. Right? Anyways, they change the metrics, you change the system. Unbelievable, folks, what they're doing to our country and what they're expecting us to believe. And the mainstream media, I think, is a huge part of the problem, right? Elon Musk actually put NBC in their place, or MSNBC in their place, because they're complete idiots, folks, right? Stephanie Rule from MSNBC thought she would take a poke at Elon Musk. And she tweeted, "Imagine the positive impact you could have on the world if you used the extraordinary amount of influence and power you have to spread decency, kindness, and positivity." That's what she said to Elon Musk. So he tweeted back, "Imagine if MSNBC did that," right? That's easy. Imagine if you guys did that. Use decency, kindness, and positivity. Well, that's not our mainstream media, folks. They hate America. Hate America. All righty. We've got about 9 minutes left. What do we got rolling with you guys? What's on your mind? And it's Kelly. Yep, it's me, a.k.a. Water Trucks. And, woo, this sounds rough. I put a knife through my hand cutting an avocado the other day. While in the ER, losing a lot of blood and blood pressure bottoming out, I could not help thinking about how screwed I'd be in SHTF. Number one, I'm very sorry you put a knife through your hand. When you sever arteries, veins, yeah, you can lose a lot of blood. It can take you down quick. Having a good first aid kit is something I cannot recommend enough. And then SHTF, Mad Max, things are tough, tight. Do you have antibiotics? You know, if you put a knife into your hand, into your arm, that there's a good chance you're going to get an infection, right? Do you need an infection? Do you need gangrene? Do you need your hand to swell up where you can't use it, right? The time that it takes to heal is hard enough. The situations that we could be facing very soon, secession, civil war, social unrest, food shortages, fuel shortages, whatever, banking shutdown. That's right, folks. Don't forget about cyber attacks. Don't forget about our grid. Our power grid can go down because these people are incompetent. If you have your own antibiotics, you can take them and heal thyself quickly and safely, right? And having a good first aid kit, the ability to clean wounds, button them up, with the butterfly. Some people aren't afraid to stitch themselves up. Having adequate painkillers, over-the-counter medication, all of this you can get through the preparedmind.club, folks. I know a lot of you are now watching us on the preparedmind.club, right? You're signing up over there and showing up live. Jolene's just done a fabulous job, folks. Behind the scenes, sweat just pouring off her head as she's been getting the club set up to carry all the weight, right? Screw Patreon, right? And subscribestar.com has been our go-to for the time being, but the club is our club, folks. It's our club, your club, my club, our club. It is for prepping. It is for patriotism. It is for getting ready for the shit that's coming. And yeah, folks, having a first aid kit, first aid books is critical so that if something bad happens, you can care for yourselves. This is what we've got with Joe Biden. It's a big FU to you and me. They don't care about us, folks. They pretend to care. There's an election coming. They're going to lie and say they care. But all the rhino Republicans and all the Democrats really don't give a frog's fat ass. We got Rick O'Connell checking in. He says, question for John. Do you think we'll ever see anyone from mainstream media charged as collaborators for their participation in this farce we've had to deal with for the last 2 years? Well, what they're going to claim is free speech, free press, the First Amendment, and they can say or do whatever they want. And nobody has to listen to them, they'll say. So did they commit a crime? Well, I think this has a lot to do with the creativity of prosecutors. Like, if there was illegal activity performed in the last 2 years and the mainstream media knowingly understood those facts and then lied to the American people about them, intentionally deceiving, causing harm, that to me sounds like a crime. When there's an injured party, that's a crime. And in this case, in my belief system, folks, the entire American people and the Constitution has had a tremendous crime committed against it. Law and order, justice, decency, morality, the American way has been offended and has had great damage done to it, our lives, the reputation of the nation. And I do think that mainstream media shares because they knowingly participated in the lies, knowing, right, that it's going to harm America, and that they're hoping that they won't get caught, won't get called for it, won't get prosecuted. I can't wait, folks. I can't wait for military tribunals. Bring them on. I can't wait. I just want it to happen, folks. Secession's coming. Troubles are coming. Civil war? Possible. Right? Partisan conflict? Guaranteed. Coming. There's going to be trials, folks. I think the people of the United States of America will take over radio stations, television stations, satellite broadcast facilities. I think they're going to take control and get their information out. I can't wait to see it happen at this point. I don't think there's any other way out of it if this election season doesn't go smooth as silk. We have between now and then, folks, now and this coming November, to get this country right. And after that, I think it's coming. And we may get it even if the election goes smooth and we see candidates elected by the people, seated in office. I still think we're going to have crazy times coming. I hope for a red wave, folks. I truly do. I truly hope that the voting against Democrats, like, they don't show up at the polls, because why even try voting? They're just that lost. And I hope enough Republicans show up and turn over Democrat seats and strengthen this country, and that the fight can then really start, folks. You see, people are picking sides, picking winners. That's really what I think is going on here. They want to intimidate us with their mainstream media. They want to intimidate us with law enforcement, letting us know that they're watching us and we're the bad guys. I don't think so. But I think this is what they have in mind. I really do, folks. They want to tear this country down. Do you want to be a part of that? I want to be a part of America that's good. I want to build America. They're the ones tearing it down. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. All right. What are we supposed to be worrying about? Well, do you worry about our jobs, our futures, our retirement, our children? Well, in California, right, Governor Newsom signs a bill allowing people to sue firearms manufacturers for the damage that's done or caused. I think you're still going to have a jury agree that it's a firearm manufacturer's fault that a legally made weapon caused the problem. I think that a jury is going to have a hard time looking past the criminals, except, well, in California. But this is just more pandering by Governor Newsom, the complete and total moron. Right? It's unbelievable, folks, what is happening in this country. I sure hope you are prepared. I want to thank you for signing up, joining us live. I want to thank you for supporting our efforts here to get news, information, opinion, and satire out to the world. The last few days, we've had a lot higher turnout as far as videos and people coming because you're sharing that internet address. On YouTube, you can share that address and others can watch, wake up, and start getting prepared. Thank you for coming to the preparedmind.club. Thank you for joining us in these discussions. And don't forget your clearinghouse for all things prepping is the rsyndicate.com. Thank you, Uman. Thank you to the rest of the R Syndicate. And thank you, Prepared Mind Network. I'll see you bright and early.